Good morning, everyone, and welcome to my podcast. My name is Lynette. Today we're going to talk about why we hold back from being ourselves in front of family. It's interesting because I think they do it as well. And so you have to ask yourself, is it a fear of being judged? Or are we trying to give them what we think they need, they want? As you go through life, there's so many milestones that you hit, starting with being a toddler and then grammar school, junior high, high school, 20s, and so forth and so on. And with each milestone, we change, we evolve, we become more of the person who we are right now. We learn, we change, we grow through experiences that we've had. And then when we reach an age where we move away from our family and we're coming back home, I've got to wonder, is it a sense of feeling like they expect us to be the person we were when we left? And are they feeling the same way? Just because a parent or grandparent is older doesn't mean their life is changing and they're evolving. And are they afraid to be something maybe a little different than you're expecting of them? I really think it works both ways. So we have to ask ourselves, do we have a really good relationship with the most important people of our lives? And so why do we put on this facade? Do we feel we owe it to each other? First, I want to back up and say that I noticed on a social media site that I was on, and I won't say which one because I was so disappointed. It kept referring to if you need to step back from your family, if you need to stay away from your family. It almost sounded to me like it was promoting it. And I don't believe that is a good thing under any circumstances. Now, if there is a reason, then to be grounded with them again is to communicate. In any relationship, I don't care if it's family, friendship, marriage, whatever it is, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, communication is by far the key. But if you're doing it and they're not reciprocating, and you do come across people who are passive aggressive, I don't know why, but you can rest assured and you can rest in peace knowing that you are doing everything you can do. You have made the attempt to communicate. If somebody won't communicate back to you, you at least have the peace that you tried to do the right thing. And actually, it's so sad for the receiver because to feel that you need to carry a grudge and not speak or not communicate, they are missing out on so much. So again, I'm going to go back to communication is the key in any relationship. Now back to our family. As I said, when we reach each milestone in our life, we grow, we change, we become the person who we are. And I think if we step into a situation where we expect people to be who we were when we were younger, first of all, you're denying yourself the potential to be your best self, to be the person that you are, to be the person who has had all kinds of experiences and has grown and evolved with those experiences. But also, your family might really like that person even better. You might just get away from the heaviness of feeling the burden of feeling like you have to be something that you're not any longer. And with that being said, the people that you're going to visit or elders in your family or siblings or whoever it might be, if they can be themselves and grow with their experiences and be able to be their authentic selves in front of you, and then all that weight lifts. Your encounter, your visit might be so much better. I can't help but to think it would bring your relationship even closer because you can talk on a level that doesn't have any resistance or any facade. I know that when my father first remarried, I would call my new stepmother, and I really didn't know what to say to her. In fact, I would notice that I would giggle or laugh more than I normally would. And I think it's because I really didn't know what to say. And in return, this is really crazy, I understand. But in return, she would kind of be that way to me. Therefore, I never really got to know her. But on a more positive note, I had a lot of family here visiting. And two of the little boys were sitting across from me at the table. And I was listening to them communicate to each other. And one said to the other, and they were talking about me, they said, "She likes me better than she likes you." And then they started to laugh because they were kidding each other. But I gotta say, it was so refreshing and so fun to hear that genuine humor come out and that they felt relaxed enough to say that. It's really the first time I saw that part of their personalities. But it was really fun and interesting to me to hear that come out of one of them because it showed me that they do relate to humor and they were relating to each other on that same level. I think that if we can all learn to be our authentic selves in front of anybody, in front of any situation, that not only are we more comfortable and it doesn't take as much energy as it does to try to be who you think they should be. I have a friend who, when they're in a crowd of people, that fun-loving personality almost diminishes. And I think it's because they feel they have to be a certain way in front of certain people. I have another friend that when she calls, I'm excited to pick up the phone. But then if she starts in a complaining mode, I mean, we could go for an hour, hour and a half, and I could really put the phone down and she'd still be complaining. Or on the positive side, her laughter is so infectious and so fun. I love to hear her laugh. And I think her laughter would be more magnetic than the complaining would be. If you go in and become your true authentic self, you might have a little resistance because family, it's interesting how they do kind of expect you. Some do, some don't, to be the person you were long ago. However, in life, you have your group of friends, either that you socialize with or work with or whatever, and you feel comfortable around them because you're all kind of like-minded. You can be yourself. But then when you get into a situation where you feel like you have to be either someone from the past or something or someone other than you're not, or not any longer, there is a heaviness to it. And I think when you're in that situation, regardless of who you're with, you almost feel like you want to leave. You can't wait to get back to your people, the people that you can be yourself with, the people that you can relax and let your personality flow so you can be who you truly are. Now, the carryover in that is that we need to learn to be that person in front of our family because that's who we've become. And it's ludicrous to think that we're going to get older without changing, without having experiences, without becoming more fully developed. And you should be able to be that person or insist on being that person. Just be who you are. And maybe other members will become more relaxed in being who they are. I think parents, for example, feel like they need to fulfill a role that they always fulfilled when you were younger, or that it's their obligation to correct you with what they feel you need to be corrected in. But it's not necessarily true. And when they see that you've become an adult and you've become who you are because of growing, living challenges, experiences, I think they can relax. And relax not only seeing that you're a responsible person, but they can relax and be more fully who they are as well. And how much more fun would your entire visit be if you all, regardless of your relationship with whoever is in your family unit, if you could all relax and be who you are? Be who you are today as you are. And again, if you get any resistance, there's some people that I know there's hot buttons that you don't discuss. If you know a certain specific situation is going to press a hot button, then you should avoid it. And that holds true in life. If you're with someone and there's a situation that you know you're going to disagree on, and it's okay. That's what life is. We all have our own values. We all feel strongly about things, and we should. That's what makes us individuals. We don't all need to think and feel the same way. But if you know it's going to make an uncomfortable setting, then don't try to sway someone to think how you think. Let them be who you are. If you like everything about them, but this particular area, so be it. I think if we just let everybody be who they are without judgment, without feeling like we need to convert them to think just like us in every area of life. Like I said, if there is a situation that you know you should discuss that might make things uncomfortable, then just stay away from it. You don't need to discuss everything with everybody. And when we come in close contact with our family, and it's been a while, and we feel like we need to put on a facade, is it because there might be a little fear of disappointing them, that we're not the person that they knew back when? Or is it their fear of disappointing you, that they're not the way they were? I think on both ends, you might get surprised at first, kind of taken back, but then it's a whole new relationship that's evolving. You have become who you are, who you've grown into at that moment. And the people that you're with, if they're more comfortable being who they are, and their role is a little different than it was when you were growing up, then they've evolved and they've grown as well. And it makes it actually a lot more interesting because you know that each of you has gone through things to bring about changes in your life. So that right there is something that you can share. Think what happens when you learn to be comfortable with your family. And you get that same feeling that you get when you're with your friends, because there's a difference. Have you noticed when you walk away from a family situation and then you're with your friends again, you almost feel like you can breathe easier? But it shouldn't be that way. So if you can go from being a certain way with your friends to being the same way with your family, and you've got to allow them in return to be who they are, who they've become as well, then you can enjoy each other so much more. You can enjoy that aspect of your life and be as comfortable in that situation as you are when you are with a group of friends that's comfortable. And I don't mean that you feel better around your friends because you love them more. It's not that. It's that in families, I've noticed that people are not as relaxed in being who they are, in being who they've become. But if you allow each other to grow at any age, it doesn't matter. I think it opens up a wonderful new door that you can walk into and have healthy conversations, good conversations, and share even more and bring you even closer to those people. With that being said, I'm going to close for now. But I want you to walk away from this realizing that it's okay to be who you are in any situation. That brings to mind that there's a talk show host that I really like. I really admire that girl. She's her authentic self all the time, it seems. She's very talented and she used that talent in the right way. But I admire her for her position and yet being comfortable enough to be who she is, regardless of who she's in front of. If somebody is resisting who you are, resisting how you've changed, and I've come across that myself, first you try to communicate. And if they won't accept that, there's not a lot you can do except continue being your true self, because you're not here on this earth to be who somebody else expects you to be. But be at peace in knowing that you've tried to communicate, you've done everything you could do, and if somebody won't accept it, as I said, there's not a lot you can do about it. Or if they're not accepting certain situations, as I said, stay away from the red hot buttons. But regardless, enjoy. And knowing that you're putting one foot in front of the other, and you're being your true self, and you're being the person you should be always, all the time. You're being your authentic self. And that, my friend, is very admirable. God bless you, and I will talk to you next week. Bye-bye.